Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood TV, and it is that time of the season where I get to play manager, I get to play chief scout, and start looking through lists and lists of players that have been released by clubs, that have been made available by clubs, that are free agents, to try and piece together a jigsaw that could be a potential Gillingham squad for 22-23 season. Obviously, slightly different this year. I'm having to look for players that we could feasibly attract to come and play for us in League Two for the first time in a decade. I have no inside knowledge. Before people ask me if I'm some sort of in the know, I've just spent a few hours over the past week since all the regular season football ended, looking at players that are out of contract and, like I say, that could be available. So I have picked players in each position that I think are feasible. I've picked an alternative in some of them positions as well. Please feel free to agree. Please feel free to disagree. That's the fun thing about this time of the season, isn't it? Always an exciting time of the summer, as we look forward to what will be, like I say, our first campaign in the basement division since we won it back in 2013. First position to look at will be between the sticks, because Gills currently have no senior goalkeeper, with the news that Aaron Chapman is deciding to relocate back up north to be close to his family. And with our other goalkeeper at the end of last season, Pontus Dahlberg, returning to his parent club, we're on the lookout for not one, but two goalkeepers. I found a couple, and I'll go through them individually. First one I found was at Carlisle United last season. He's 35 years of age. He was born in Southwark, and that is Mark Howard. Has been released by the Cumbrians despite picking up a couple of awards at the end of season Player of the Year dues. 35 appearances in 21-22 season. He kept 11 clean sheets, so 1 in 3 just about, which is not too bad. If you base that over a whole season, that would be 15 clean sheets there or thereabouts. In terms of his career as a whole, Mark Howard, 341 career appearances, 117 clean sheets. So that's a clean sheet better than 1 in 3, which is a really good strike rate. And trying to dig a bit deeper in terms of his minutes per game over his entire career, he's played 89 minutes per game on average, so doesn't miss a lot of football through injury or suspension. So that's my first pick for a potential goalkeeper coming in, Mark Howard. Second goalkeeper I found is at the other end of the spectrum in terms of his career and age, and it's a lad that's been released by Cambridge United. Didn't play a lot of football last season, Kai Mackenzie-Lyle. Just 3 appearances from the London-born stopper. No clean sheets in them 3 games. I think it might have just been a substitute appearance, actually, one of them. But yeah, released by Cambridge, so relatively local, born in London, geographically makes sense. Only 16 career appearances, 4 clean sheets, so 25% strike rate, plays 84 minutes per game on average, so essentially a full game every time, which is generally what you get with goalkeepers. For me, I'm not saying he could come in and be a number 1 automatically with his lack of experience, but he could certainly be a more than able number 2. So that's my second pick, Kai Mackenzie-Lyle. One alternative, and I'm sure I'm going to be accused of being sentimental rather than thinking with my head, but to be honest, there's a lack of goalkeepers available that are out of contract or affordable in League 2, National League. So one person I've mentioned is a player that did win League 2 with us in 2013, released by Sutton United at the end of the season. Follow him on Instagram, as fit as a fiddle still at 39 years of age. My alternative is Stuart Nelson. Second position to look at is right back, and in terms of what Neil Harris is going to be working with, it's a completely clean slate, having seen Ryan Jackson be released along with youngster Harvey Lintop. Robbie McKenzie has been offered a new contract by Neil Harris, but I don't think he'll sign it personally. I think he'll stay in League One. So what it does give Neil the opportunity to do is to get in a couple of new ones, a couple of options, and let them fight it out to be first choice come that first game of the season. My first option is Tom James, 26 years of age, born in Cardiff. Most recent club is Leyton Orient. Played 21 times in 21-22, providing 4 goals and 4 assists. So solid enough when called upon. Decent output in terms of goal contributions with 8 in 21 games, which is better than 1 in 3, which for a right back is fairly consistent. 163 career appearances as well, of which Tom averages 84 minutes per game. So that's my first pick, Tom James, Leyton Orient. Choice number 2 is a player who also features at a London-based club. Who's born in London, so local geographically, 28 years of age, and that is Joe KIZZI of Sutton United. 32 appearances last season for a Sutton side that did really well. Just missed out on the playoffs and did get to the final of the stuffed crust pizza trophy, before losing out to Rotherham. 32 appearances, came along with 6 goals and 3 assists. That's 9 goal contributions in 32 appearances, which is really, really good. Gives the impression that he'll get up and down, provide crosses, an outlet, and everything that you want in a modern day fullback. In terms of his career as a whole, he scored 18 times in 121 appearances. Again, for a fullback, really, really good. You're looking at 1 in 6, which is not bad for a defender, and averages 89 minutes per game. So again, another player that barely misses a minute of football time. That is my second pick, Joe KIZZI. My alternative pick for right back is a player who I believe played under Neil Harris at Cardiff a couple of years ago. He's just been released by Middlesbrough in the Championship this season, 35 years of age, so would provide real experience and leadership that Harris said we missed, certainly during his time with us in 2021 as we battled to avoid the drop into the basement division. Therefore, my pick for alternative option at right back is Lee Peltier. Now moving to the heart of defence. In terms of options that we've got there at the moment, it's slim pickings. Jack Tucker, another that's been offered a contract. Cannot see him sticking around. I think he's too good for League Two, which would be a real shame. Obviously, homegrown talent, but entitled to move on, and I can see him definitely moving away from Kent in the summer. Max Emar is still under contract, one of the 7, but we know that Neil Harris has said that he doesn't want all of them to be at the football club come the start of next season, so potentially in danger, Max. So I've got 2 alternatives to look at. Yeah, let's have a look at them. First up is a player who was released by Shrewsbury Town at the end of the season. He's 29 years of age, absolute man mountain. Everything that you want in a centre-back. Solid, athletic, can tackle, can head. London born again. Played 25 times for Salop last season, keeping 5 clean sheets. And that is Aaron Pierre. Previous clubs can be counted as Wycombe Wanderers, so he has played down in towards the southeast of the country in previous years. 33% start rate over the last 12 months at Shrewsbury Town. Really solid career though in the lower leagues. 325 appearances, of which 270 have been in League One and League Two, and 83% minutes per game. Sorry. So Aaron Pierre for me has to be someone that we're looking at. Experience, solid defender, experience in the division, leadership, and still at a good age for a centre back. Second up is a slightly left field pick, but there is a Harris link from his time at Millwall. It's 26-year-old centre-back who's currently at Northampton Town, but unfortunately has only played 2 times during the 21-22 campaign because of an injury picked up after making just 2 appearances, like I've said. But was with Neil at Millwall. Has 158 career appearances in total, of which he averages 80 minutes per game. 100% starts in that very embryonic season. The man I'm talking about is Sid Nelson. He was at Millwall, like I say, as a kid. He's had a lot of loan spells and moved since then. But at 26 years of age, off the back of an injury hit season, if Neil Harris can be convinced that he's fit enough to get through the rigours of a 46-game campaign, then he could be a really astute bit of business. 2 alternatives to Pierre and Nelson that I've found are Adam Thompson, again locally based. He's at Leyton Orient, and a bit more high profile. It would take a bit of persuading, I think. Has been made available for transfer by his club, Peterborough United, but isn't out of contract. Again, there's the link to Harris from the Millwall days, and that's Mark Beavers. So that's my 2 alternative picks at centre-half. Adam Thompson of Leyton Orient and Mark Beavers of Peterborough United. Moving further across the pitch, we now look at left-back. Again, it's an area we're going to have to strengthen. We've offered a contract to youngster Bailey Akehurst. David Tatonda is still under contract with the club as well. But again, similar situation to Max Emar, could be one of those 7 that Neil Harris doesn't want to persist with, and could be someone that we're trying to get off the wage bill. So we're going to have a look at 2 options. First up is London-born Liam Gordon, who was at Bolton Wanderers last season. Played 13 times, providing 1 assist. So not first choice by any means. Only 22% strike rate in terms of starting games. But at a good age, 22, plenty of work there that you can do with him, plenty of potential. Has made 110 career appearances so far, 7 goals and 6 assists. Versatile as well, can play right back if at a push, so that's a good thing for me. We're not going to run with a massive squad. I know Neil said we want more cover, but we've not got loads of money to spend. He's already come out and said we're not going to be in the top echelons in terms of budget for League Two, so versatility could be key. 73 minutes per game for Liam Gordon over his career so far, so that is my first choice pick for left back. Second option is a lad that's currently at Swindon Town. I know they've still got a playoff campaign to get through, and he has been somewhat of a regular, so it might be something that's not really attainable, especially if Swindon do go through the playoffs and get promoted. But that is Ellis Iandolo. He was born in Chatham, so a really close link to the Medway Towns, which could swing things in our favour if Swindon do not get promoted. Only 24 years of age. 85% strike rate in terms of starting games this season, which is really high, so highly thought of. 44 appearances, a single goal and 7 assists, so some good figures there in terms of goal output from Iandolo. And over his career, 144 appearances in total and 17 goal contributions, averages 65 minutes at a game. But if you look at his recent seasons, that has gone up, so he's becoming a regular as he gains experience. So yeah, that's my second choice for left back, Ellis Iandolo. The alternative is fairly obvious at the moment. It has to be David Tatonda. He's contracted to the club. If we can't shift him on, or Neil Harris sees something in pre-season, then he could become a viable option. Moving into the middle of the park now, one of the key areas on the pitch, I'm looking at central midfielders, orthodox and central defensive-minded midfielders. So there's 3 picks in this area of the park. First up is a lad called Liam O'Neill, born in Cambridge, plays for Cambridge, 28 years of age, 21 appearances last season for the U's as they made the step up from the basement division into League One and had a very creditable campaign. He scored 1 goal, but he did only start 33% of the games that he was available for, so 1 in 3. So might be looking to move on to get himself some more football. Knows League Two. I think he played about 25 games the season previous when they won the title in that division. That kind of experience and know-how could be absolutely vital. Can play centre-back and right-back as well, which would be great again. 309 career appearances and averages 72 minutes per game, so doesn't miss a lot of football. So that's my first choice, Liam O'Neill. Next 2 options are going to be more orthodox midfield players because we've obviously got Stuart O'Keefe under contract, and I'd be highly surprised if Neil Harris doesn't fancy him come the first game of the season. I'd be highly surprised if he's not captain. But the first player to look at is someone playing in the National League, born in Lichfield, only 23 years of age, really stepped up this season in terms of performance and goal output. 43 appearances and 17 goals. Bearing in mind, I think he's only scored about 25 goals in his career. And that man is Joe SBARRA. 93% strike rate in terms of games started. Solihull Moors could still get promoted. So again, it's one that could be in the balance. If they come up, he might decide he wants to stay put, and who could blame him? But if they do stay in the National League, it could be someone that we should be having a look at, in my opinion. Like I said, it's already his most prolific scoring season to date, out of 157 career appearances. Only averages 54 minutes per game, but again, 23 years of age, lots of substitute appearances as he's developed and gained experience and now becoming more of a regular. So that's Joe SBARRA. Third pick in the middle of the park is a London-born player again. There's a theme here, isn't there? Geographically, we've got to be sensible. Look at what we did with under Steve Evans. We had lots of players for Dane Oliver, Aaron Chapman, Danny Lloyd, all having to commute, all having to be away from their families for long periods of game. And there's a chance that all 3 of them won't be playing for us next season. For Dane and Aaron have already confirmed they're going back home. Obviously, there's question marks over Lloydie because of the injury. So this player that I'm looking at, currently at Crawley Town, 28 years of age, so a good age for a midfielder, still plenty of years left in the tanks. Jack Powell. He's made 37 appearances this season, scored a single goal and provided 6 assists from the middle of the park. 80% strike rate in terms of starting games. And he's had a solid career overall. He's played 226 times to date, 22 goals and 24 assists. That's 46 goal contributions. So you're looking at around 1 in 5.5, which again is not too bad over a season. If you say 46 games, round that down, 45 divided by 5, you're looking at 9 or 10 goal contributions a season from central midfield, which is not to be sniffed at all. So that's my final pick for central midfield, Jack Powell of Crawley Town. The one alternative is a player that's under contract at the club already. It'd be interesting to see how he develops. He could come in pre-season, hit the ground running, and could become a viable option to start games in League Two. If not, if we get players in and he goes down the pecking order, he could be set for another loan. He was at Dover last season. So my alternative pick for central midfield is Henry Woods. We now move further forward into the final third of the pitch, where then players can provide you with a bit of stardust, a bit of creativity, win your football matches with a key pass, win your football matches with a moment of magic. We're going to need that. We know Neil Harris is likely to build a squad that's fundamentally 4-4-2, 2 banks of 4, midfielders that work hard, fullbacks that tuck in, and then 2 strikers. But I'd like to see us have the option to be able to switch it up to 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. So here are my picks for potential number 10s. First up is a player who's just been released by his club, Stevenage Borough. Born in London, so again it makes sense in terms of geography. He's 25 years of age. He played 20 times last season in Sky Bet League 2 and provided 1 assist. His name is Charlie Carter. He's just been released by Steve Evans come the end of the season after they survived the drop from League 2 into the National League. Over his career, he's made 178 appearances in total, of which 45% have been in league football. So good experience for a 25-year-old. 35 goal contributions in them 178 games as well. Didn't really start many games last season, only 9% of those that he was available for. So he might want a fresh start. And if you can get a good pre-season to him and he can hit the ground running, he could be a good player. 63 minutes on average per appearance out his career so far. So gets through an hour, but you have to imagine if he's gone through a whole campaign where he's barely played, barely started, then that minutes per game is going to drop. So first pick for me, for a central attacking midfield role, Charlie Carter. Second one I found is someone I almost stumbled across. I was watching a National League game last weekend, which was Chesterfield at Torquay United. And this player was very, very good. So I did a bit of research. He's 25 years of age, was born in Portsmouth, so not a million miles away from Kent. And he scored 15 times in 37 appearances in the National League this season. His name is Armani Little. Very, very good player. Was impressed with what I saw in the game against Chesterfield on BT Sport. Obviously, it's only one game, but did a bit more digging. Very versatile, so he can play central midfield, can play as the 10, can also sit a bit deeper and affect play from there as well. And 129 career appearances already, and he scored 21 goals in that time. So you're looking at around 1 in 5, 1 in 6, which again is not too bad at all from midfield. And his average minutes per game is 74 throughout his career. And so far this season in the National League, bearing in mind at the time of recording, there's 1 more game to play. He has started 86% of those available for selection for. My alternative picks are all players that are contracted or have been offered contracts at the club. So that is Ollie Lee. I've had this chat 1,000 times. I think he's a very good number 10 in League 1. So I think he'd be an even better number 10 in League 2. But he's not been played in the correct role for me for a long time now. Ben Reeves. Impressive over the last 6 weeks of the season, fitness issues. And Josh Chambers, youngster, plenty to prove, raw talent, just been offered a new deal. So that's my 3 alternative picks. We're going to need something next season in League 2 that we struggled with all season long through injuries and poor recruitment, and that's width. We're going to need wide attackers, those people that can get us up the pitch, get us into the final third, get us into dangerous areas to get balls into the box for strikers to feed off. So I've got a couple of options to have a look at. Both players have been released by their clubs recently. First up, again, it's a slightly left field one. It's a player that's barely played any football in his career. He's just been released by his club, Sutton United. He featured 14 times in 21-22 and scored 2 goals. That is 25-year-old Liverpudlian Ricky Korboa. Had a little look at him, some clips. Looks quick, looks direct. Pretty sure I read the retain list from Sutton United and their manager said that he was unlucky. He was decent when he was called upon, but he just couldn't get in the team on a regular basis because of the fact that Sutton were having such a good campaign. Over his career, he's only played 43 times, which is not a lot for a 25-year-old, something of a late bloomer, but we've seen plenty of them over the years. Ian Wright stands out as an example. 5 goals and 3 assists in that time, and he's averaged 43 minutes per game throughout his career, only started 7% of the games available in 21-22, but it could be someone again that wants to prove a point, wants to come in and work hard and get his head down. And we as Gills fans have always said that if people come in and put in a shift, then we'll get behind them. So that's my first pick, Ricky Korboa. Second one is something of a household name in the lower league circuit. He's been around the block a few times, but still only 28 years of age, born in Portugal. So a bit of international flavour for this one. 27 appearances in 2 assists in 21-22 as he started 31% of the games he was available for. And that is 28-year-old Bruno Andrade, who has just been released by Stevenage Borough. Can play either side, left or right. Decent enough on both feet, technically good. Still got a decent amount of pace, loads of experience, 336 career appearances and 106 goal contributions. So you're looking at a goal contribution every 3 games. Again, so if you play him in a full season, you're looking at 15 goal contributions, which would be very, very good. 65 minutes per game throughout his career. Tends to happen with flair players, I suppose. If he's playing in a team that's seeing out a victory, then he's going to be bought off for a more defensive-minded player. Sometimes he's going to have to come on the bench and try and change games. So yeah, that's my pick. Much more experience than the first one. Bruno Andrade. The alternative is a player that missed a lot of the season for Gills last year, but he's working his way back to fitness. I know he was back on the grass over the last month of the season, and he will be very, very experienced in League Two. He's played in there with Oxford, I think with Burton, with Mansfield. Was very good playing wide left, but a narrow wide left in 1920 when we had Jordan Graham the other side. And that alternative pick for me is Alex McDonald. Right, final position, one of the most important on the pitch. Them things that win your games is goals, so we're going to need strikers. Verdane Oliver has left the club of his own accord, has gone back up north to be near his family, and we wish him well. Gerard Sitole, the youngster, has been released. Charlie Kelman and Tom Dixon-Peters have both gone back to their parent clubs after loan spells. Charlie's probably someone I'd look at getting back in, but we don't know his situation at QPR yet and they haven't got a manager. Obviously, John Akindi was released by Steve Lovell in January. So it leaves us with a clean slate again. It leaves Neil Harris with a clean slate to get in players that he thinks will do a job and ultimately score goals to make us, at the very least, competitive in the basement division. So let's have a look. I've got 4 choices in the striker role. First up is a youngster who is plying his trade in National League South for Dorking Wanderers. He's 23 years of age. I don't know where he was born. I couldn't find it on the internet, unfortunately, but that's not important. His name is ALFIE Rutherford. He's played 35 times this season for the Wanderers and he's scored 31 goals, a staggering return at whatever level. And let's be honest, it's only 2 divisions below us now, so it's not a big step up. It's not as big a step up as it was before in previous years when the gap between non-league and the old 4th division was a lot bigger then. All of these clubs generally in the National League division are full-time. There's a lot in the regional divisions that are going that way as well. He's played 70 times in his embryonic career so far, Rutherford, 45 goals. So he goes along at a goal every other game, which is very, very good. All at National League and National League South level. 75 minutes per game over his career, and he started 85% of the games he's been available for selection for this season. Could be one that we could bring in like a rough diamond and polish him up. ALFIE Rutherford. Second pick is incidentally the only person that I've picked as an option who's actually plying his trade in the Football League at the moment, and there is a Millwall link and there is a geographically very local link. He is Chatham-born, 26-year-old target man, Harry Smith. I think he started his career at Sittingbourne and Folkestone before moving up the leagues and getting himself into the professional game. Currently having his best scoring rate of his senior career with 13 goals and 2 assists from 41 appearances in Sky Bet League 2. Was with Neil Harris at Millwall as a youngster before being released. He started 67% of the games he was available for this past season, and he averages just over an hour in terms of minutes played per game throughout his career, which has been 178 games so far, as I've already said. So that's my second choice, because we're going to need a target man. Harry Smith. My third pick is another youngster, another 23-year-old, born in Northern Ireland, currently plying his trade at Maidenhead United, where he has started 79% of the games he's been available for, making 39 appearances and scoring 15 goals. And that man is Josh Kelly. Can also play as a second striker, so would give you that versatility. Would be very good in a 4-4-2 if that's how we go, because he'd ultimately be the one that would have to drop a little bit deeper, potentially out of possession, to give us an extra man in the middle of the park to keep us solid and keep us rigid. 129 career appearances so far, which is no mean feat at 23 years of age. 27 goals and 2 assists. Averages 60 minutes per game throughout that career. So that's my third pick, Josh Kelly. Last but not least is the most experienced of the 4 picks so far. He's been playing for Bromley for the last few seasons. He scored 16 goals and provided 1 assist this current campaign from 41 games. As I've already mentioned, 1 game to go. 30-year-old Michael Cheek, born in Nuneaton, but obviously playing a lot more local than that. Very, very good non-league career. would come with bags of experience. And like I've said, I don't think the step up from National League to League Twos is that big now. So I'd be confident, even though he is 30 and he's never played in the Football League, that he could make the step up. 290 appearances throughout his career, 115 goals, 15 assists. That's 130 goal contributions overall, which is exactly 1 in 3. So you'd be looking at around 15 per season in a full campaign. Averages 76 minutes per appearance throughout his career, and has started 93% of the games that Bromley have played this season. So that's my final pick, last but not least. Michael Cheek, my final alternative pick of the video, is a player who featured for us for one season under Steve Evans. Has been offered a new contract, I think, by Crewe Alexandra, but I'm not sure whether he signed it yet. That's the risk with these types of videos this early in the summer, is that you can pick a load of players and they can sign new deals. But my alternative pick is Mika Mandron, who I thought was very impressive for us that one season that he played. Then left, didn't he, when COVID hit, because Gills were not offering contracts, unfortunately. Had a very, very good first campaign for the Alex in League One. Not as prolific in the second season, as they struggled after losing a lot of their very, very good youth products to other clubs. But yeah, I still think he could do a very good job for us if available, and if he doesn't sign a new deal at Crewe Alexandra. So that is my last alternative pick of the video, Mika Mandron. Right, that is it. That is my list of potential targets for Neil Harris to take a look at. I'm pretty sure, like I say every summer, he will not look at any, he will not sign any. But it's been good fun nonetheless. Let me know what you think in terms of those players that I've spoken about. Get commenting down below on YouTube. Please drop a like, please drop a sub. We are less than 70 away from 2,000 subscribers now. If we could get there before pre-season, that'd be absolutely brilliant. If we could get there before the first day of the new campaign, that'd be great. If you're League Two football fans, please do the same. We are still trying to build up the portfolio ahead of the 2022-2023 campaign. Check us out, like I've said every time. We are also on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter at Gills in the Blood. Not sure when the next video will be. Obviously the next time we might see you will be if we do make a signing, or if someone signs a new contract, or if someone gets released, or maybe we can find a player to interview or a club legend. But thanks for watching as always. Your ongoing support is highly appreciated. Like I said, please keep hitting the like and subscribe button. We will see you soon, and until next time, up the Gills.